What's going on YouTube? Budget Gaming here. Today I'm going to be discussing my video game collection and how much it is worth. So I had a comment on one of my recent videos saying, hey, how much have you spent on your game collection? Because you've probably spent a lot of time and money and it's not worth it because, hey, I've got 500 games on my custom firmware PS3 and I'll have even more on my jailbroken PS5. And I have to say, you know, if physical game collecting is not your thing, I definitely can understand that. And it's funny because they were actually replying to a comment that I got accusing me of scalping limited run games. So we'll talk about that as well. So anyway, let's talk about my budget. For the last 4 years, I've been seriously game collecting. I've spent around $14,400 on buying video games. So that's a yearly budget of $3,600 and a monthly budget of $300. Now I am in the position where I can do that. I'm not hurting. I'm not, living paycheck to paycheck. I have a lot of money in savings, and it's not really going to harm me to spend $300. Now I would say if you don't have $300 to spend, maybe $60 a month, maybe $30 a month. Whatever it takes, try to develop a budget that's according to your lifestyle, whatever you can fit in right now that's not going to hurt you. Entertainment is very important in human life, but there's other things that are more important, like housing, necessities like food, water. Don't sacrifice anything on account of entertainment. So back to my game budget. So yeah, for the last 4 years, I've spent $14,400 and an additional $300 on shelving, which this one right here costs $179 on its own. So that was the majority of it. The other shelving that I used to have, it was all cheap stuff from Walmart. But over the last 4 years, I've collected over 1,800 games in my collection, and the total value of that is $34,575, with $29,055 being attributed just to the games themselves, $4,576 being attributed to the systems, and $944 being attributed to the peripherals like memory cards and controllers. So that means that over the last 4 years, I've actually gained in value $19,875. Now that money, I really don't think of that as disposable income, because I generally don't sell anything in my collection aside from I might pick up from a Goodwill or a pawn shop, a second copy of a game like Dead Space 3, which actually right over here you can see I have 2 copies. I spent $5 on this one, and that was, I think, actually my first copy. I picked this one up, I think, from a pawn shop or something like that. So those games, I'll sell those for maybe $5. I might sell it for the price I get. I don't make that much money, but it does help kind of offset if I go over budget for a month. Now, like I said, I was accused of scalping limited run games because I guess because I keep my limited run games sealed, or at least I try to. And while I don't go, selling them, I do like to keep them sealed. Now, I usually pick up limited run games for pretty much one reason. It's because I really enjoy putting games on my shelf when they're completed. So the games all behind me right here are all games that I completed. My completed games kind of go down all the way to this bottom shelf. You can't really see it on the camera right now, but the bottom shelf, halfway to the bottom shelf, is all stuff that I completed, and then it goes into this shelf over here and another shelf over here, and that is my backlog. So these are the games that I haven't beat. The ones directly behind me are games that I beat. And whenever I beat a game, like this, Stranger Things, I have this downloaded. I picked it up very cheap on the PSN, and whenever I beat this, it is going to sit right there on that shelf behind me, and it's going to look great. Now, since I own this on the PSN, there's really not a reason for me to open it. There's some cool stuff inside of it, but I'm not going to go out trying to sell this just to make a quick buck. Now, that being said, if there is an emergency, like I said, I've spent $14,400 on this game collection, and it's total worth $34,000. Let's just say $35,000 probably by the end of the year. So that being said, if there is an emergency in my life, I do have games that I can sell, and that's something you can't do with a custom firmware PS3. You're not going to get $35,000. You might have 500 games, but it's really not worth anything more than the price of a PS3. It's awesome that, all these games can fit there on that, but guess what? I've had PS3s go out. I've had tons of PS3s break on me. I've had the Blu-ray drive go out. I've had the yellow light of death. I've had them have critical power failure where they just don't turn on at all. And that it's one of those sad things. If you have 500 games and they're all on there, you might lose them all at once. With physical game collecting, you can't really lose all your games at once unless, natural disaster happens or something like that. So, you have that sense of security with the physical game collecting that you don't have when it's digital only. Especially if you're purchasing these games off like the PSN or the Xbox, Live. If you're purchasing these games off a service like that, you're really only getting a license. And if you're downloading ISOs and ROMs illegally, that can get you into legal trouble. And I try to avoid any legal trouble if I can. But anyway, I've kind of gone off on a tangent. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys keep track of your game collection? How much is it worth? Do you sell any games in your game collection? Because, I don't think that there's anything wrong with selling 1 or 2 games. I think there's something wrong if you're only going out and purchasing a game just to sell it, especially if it's, something from like limited run games. They don't make a lot of these. So yeah, that is kind of, just shady if you're buying, 20 copies of a game from limited run just to make some money off that. But yeah, no, there's no problem with buying a game from limited run, keeping it sealed, playing it, putting it on the shelf. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Take care, and as always, keep on gaming. Bye bye.